Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Happy Winning Wednesday. Hey, I just want to say, I want to start off by saying I want to give everybody a big thank you for all the super birthday wishes. It's really humbling, and it just blew me away how many birthday wishes I got on my page. So I just want to thank all of you for hooking me up. It's just super humbling. And I just can't thank you enough for doing that, taking the time out of your day. I know everybody's busy, and wish me a happy 52nd birthday. Got to go to dinner with my lovely wife, and came home, went to work on bringing you tonight's show. And speaking of the show, we've got a great one for you tonight. Our in-the-seat guest is going to be the awesome Garth Mulkey, founder of the Nitro Radish World Formula Pro Series, and we're going to talk about the happenings in the series and the state of the Northwest Gold Cup and what's on the horizon for four-cycle racing. And as usual, our usual news and happenings from around the racing world, schedules and upcoming events, and the results from this weekend. We got some good stuff from Salem, from their two-day show, the Rotax Round 4 from Phoenix. And we're also going to dive into a little bit on race fuel and what you should look for. I know it's kind of common for some, but there's just little things that a guy should probably know. We're going to have some results from the Sid White Memorial, the endurance race down there. We've got a little info on the Cal Speed LAKC soap opera ordeal, and some big news from a local Northwest racer who made quite a name for himself. And it's just going to be a great show. So, you know what? Lots of cool stuff. So grab your cold one. If you're out in the shop, turn it up and get ready for a great hour of motorsports. I can't believe I'm 52. But you know what? I'm not going to let that get me tonight. Racing round. Lots of events coming up in March. The 7th and 8th at Meridian Speedway is the Race-O-Rama, and it's for Speedway lovers. And from what I understand, the purse could be pretty large, as much as $2,300. They've got some people stepping up. Cyclone Cycles from over there in Boise, stepping up and put up $250, along with Travis Anderson's Bad News Racing Team. They chipped in a Franklin. And you add to that the normal 50, 30, 20 payout from what they do over there at Meridian, and the 200 bones for the highest points for the weekend as a bonus. And, you know, that's just to start with. So then you have the Speedway actually chipping in or matching the donations up to $1,000. So, I mean, quite possibly there could be a $2,400 payout here for the Race-O-Rama. So that's making Speedway stuff look pretty good, as if it didn't already. But pretty good stuff coming up March 7th and 8th, the Race-O-Rama at Meridian Speedway. And you can get a hold of Josh Cully. Those of you who know Josh, he just published a new website. It's called the Idaho Speedway Karting website. So it's idahospeedwaykarting.com. And you can go to the Meridian Speedway website as well, or hit any of the Speedway forums on Facebook. They've got Idaho Racing, Idaho Speedway stuff. They've got all kinds of roundy round stuff over there in Idaho going on. So that's March 7th and 8th. March 27th through the 29th. Man, a huge weekend coming up for cage kart racers, as the 2015 Cage Cup is going to be invading the Salem Speedway for 3 killer nights of racing. And, I mean, I got to do it last year, and it was awesome. They had over 150 cars, and it was awesome. The best of the best are going to be there. You can bank on that. And Matt Enos is promoting the whole thing, and he's got a page on Facebook. It's called the 2015 Cage Cup, or you can get a hold of Matt Enos on Facebook and find out more information. But it's going to be really cool. There's going to be a lot of cars there. You know, 250s, 125s, 500s. I mean, it is probably the biggest event, at least in the Northwest, as far as cage kart stuff goes. So don't want to miss that. And if you're looking at maybe staying or coming and watching, you might want to get the hotel rooms soon. It's not going to be. They're going to be full. So make sure you do that. Mention Hampton Inns is the motel you want to get to, and just let them know that you're part of the Salem Speedway race, and they'll get you a racer's discount. Even if you're a fan, just tell them you're with Salem Speedway. They'll give you a break on the room. I think it's like $99 or something like that. So anyway, if you're going to do that, you should probably do that now, because I'm sure rooms are going to be running out. And that brings up March is going to be Cage Cup month, basically, here on the Northwest Race Report, in preparation for this big event. And we've got a stellar house of guests coming up, including superstar Kobe Copeland, 2014 Cage Cup winner. So he's a defending champ. And we've also got the man, Dane Amick's going to be joining us, and as well as Patrick Desbian's going to be on the show, and Christopher Rawlings, Mr. Topher himself, going to be on the show. So going to be some cool stuff coming up. Unlimited All-Star-wise, the Northwest Unlimited All-Stars confirmed today that the first outdoor UAS race will be May 23rd at Strataline ORV. And they're going to be on tap with the Cascade Karting Association's season opener, their Super Summer Sizzlin' Series. And they're going to be going 6 times over the summer. And so that starts May 23rd. UAS is going to be there. They also confirmed that the 3rd annual Betty Boop Memorial, which is on August 15th at Strataline ORV, is going to be a quarter-point race. So going to be a very important race for anybody that's running the Northwest Unlimited All-Stars. Then that's on August 15th. They're still waiting on Albany and Castle Rock to confirm some dates before they release the whole Northwest Unlimited All-Star summer schedule. So bear with them. There's some changes going on, and so they're waiting to just get the dates so everything's good and confirmed, so we don't have to go through it, 40 times. This Saturday, the 21st, Slideway Saturday, comes back to the Salem Speedway for the and they've got a one-day show. It's the half day, and they're joined with the flat track bikes and quads in the night show. But $10 will get you a pit pass, and it's good for both the day and the night show. So that is really cool. Bob Leach doing a nice job saving you some pennies there, because $10, that's all day of racing. The carts go until about 3:30, and then the bikes come underway and get going. And there, I think the curfew's 10, so, that's racing from basically noon until 10 at night for $10. You're not going to beat that anywhere, I don't think. If you can, let me know. I'd like to see where that is. And then the March 7th Slideway Saturday event has been canceled, and I do believe that was kind of the championship weekend they were going to have, but the fairgrounds needed it for a horse show or something, so it's been canceled. But you'll definitely want to confirm that. Check it out on Salem Speedway on Facebook or at the Pro Boards, Salem Pro Boards, for more information. Or you can hit up Roger Freeborn on Facebook. He's probably got it up there, but just confirm that. But I was told that event has been canceled. So Scott Warning in the house. Scott, thanks for checking in. Scott's the Ohio Valley UAS administrator or assistant administrator. Shane Smith, my co-host last week. Man, I wish he was here tonight. It's kind of nice having one time on the show. And Sean Peterson, I will not forget. That's actually part of my show tonight, so I'll make sure they get that shout. 23rd or 24th. I was told, Ronnie Cox told me it was the 23rd. So I'm not sure if they're running it on Saturday. I thought the same thing. Maybe because they're just having a test and tune. Maybe the Unlimited guys are going to run on Saturday, but maybe it is the 24th on Sunday. That's when the Cascade Karting season opener actually begins. But Saturdays are test and tune and new driver orientation. So, yes. So Rob Lambert has confirmed that. Horse Show has canceled out the 7th and 8th race. Tyler Weber, thanks for the happy birthday wish Tim Chase, thank you, man. I appreciate it. But so one time, I don't know what to tell you on that. I'm pretty sure it's my guess is it's going to be the 24th, but the Rocket said the 23rd, so maybe we'll get that confirmed by the end of the show. March 14th and 15th will be the final two-day show for Salem Speedway, and the 125s, 250s, quarter midgets, and the other junior classes run during the day, and then the 500s, mini stocks, mini and micros take the track for the night show, and that'll be the final indoor at Salem Speedway, other than the Cage Cup coming up the weekend, a couple weekends after that. Is it a couple or one? Yeah, it'll be a couple. So that's going to be it for the two-day shows. Been a good year, I think. The Cage Group, the two-day shows have had some excellent turnouts, as we'll get to a little bit later on in some of the results. But that's that as far as the indoor goes. March 29th will be the season opener for the Oregon State Karting Championship Series at the Mack Track, McMinnville Raceway Park in McMinnville, Oregon. It's located on the Yamhill County Fairgrounds, and 11 races are slated to be on tap for the year between the Mack Track and Pat's Acres, the PARC in Canby. 3 Under the Lights shows have been scheduled this year. 2 are at Pat's Acres. 1 is at Mack. If you haven't been under the lights, it's awesome. Let me tell you, it's awesome. And there's going to be 3 of them. So for more info on the classes, rules, the full schedule, you can go to portlandkarting.com and get all that stuff. They've got a cool, nifty website. It's easy to navigate and get you going. Man, I can't believe Doc is in the house. My man. Big Doc from Doc's Photos. That's awesome. He's listening in tonight. He takes some awesome pictures. You can go to docsphotos.com and check him out if you want some cool pictures. Doc is the man. He's the official track photographer at the Salem Speedway. So cool stuff, Doc. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Mr. JP, Joe Penatel, in the house. So in racing news, and at 8 o'clock, we got a great guest, Garth Mulkey, going to be joining us. Those of you just tuning in, so hang tight. He's got some big news coming up. But in other racing news, this is really cool. I mean, this is super cool. Now, some of you Speedway guys, which it has been a lot of Speedway stuff, but as we get into the summer, it'll kind of be a mix of the two, because I think the asphalt kind of overtakes the dirt then. Excuse me. But the CIK FIA Karting Trophy Series. Now, that's a big international series. I mean, it's a big deal. Really a big deal. And it's all run overseas. But they announced, well, actually, how it works is the CIK FIA Karting Trophy Series has, it's almost like Rotax. They have identical equipment, but they swap it randomly over 3 race weekends. And so the events are going to be, is it Zura, Spain, Genk, Belgium, and Le Mans, France. And so if you get chosen to go over there and represent the U.S. over there, where karting is huge internationally, I mean, it's way bigger and, I mean, way more serious than I ever thought of being here. So if you get picked to go over there, it's a big deal. And they picked 2 drivers from the Rotax Series to represent the United States, and those were Jagger Jones and our own Stingray Rob from Boise, Idaho. I mean, I thought that was huge. And how they did it was kind of cool, too, because they took Stingray aside as if he was in trouble, like they were going to get him on a penalty or something. And then he came over there all scared to death, and then they surprised him with this notice that he had been chosen to represent the United States in the CIK FIA Karting Trophy Series. So pretty cool. I bet he was super excited. I wish I could have been there to see what was going on. But hey, Scott Bloomquist just won at Volusia Speedway. So the man, Scott Bloomquist, late model standout, just won. So thank you, Scott Warning, for that. So Jagger Jones, those of you who don't know, grandfather is Parnelli Jones. Dad is P.J. Jones, two major players in the racing game. And Rob is just a household name around here. He's just made it by sheer hard work, determination, and he runs a lot of weekends. I mean, I'm saying it's crazy. It's like, I don't know, I want to say it's like 36 weekends out of the year. I mean, it's a lot. And he went to the grand finals last year in Spain, and he has just worked super hard. And I'm just so glad to see him get this. I mean, it's actually a impressive and honorable assignment, if you ask me. So congratulations to both Stingray Rob and Jagger Jones on that. This news is kind of interesting. BRP, or for those of you in layman's terms, that's Rotax. I mean, they've got the Marine Division, the Off-Road Division, the Ski-Doo and all that stuff. But for the Rotax, they pick a distributor of the year every year. And Sodi Kart was picked as the winner. So out of 41 authorized distributors worldwide, Sodi Kart wins it. So that's a pretty big that's a big deal. That's pretty cool. But check out these numbers though. These are what will blow your mind. 41 authorized distributors. Okay. 600 authorized Rotax service centers with an annual sales of $3 billion from 105 different countries, and they employ 7,100 people. Can you imagine? So no wonder. I mean, it's just like one thing's for sure is Rotax is here to stay. I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, $3 billion. Now that includes the Ski-Doo and the off-road and the karting and so on and so forth. But still, nonetheless, Rotax is big, way big. And I don't know how many people actually know that, but they are pretty big. Karting's just a minuscule part on what's going on. So, man, that's awesome. Bloomquist leads every lap, and he wins at Volusia. That is pretty cool. And he's going to be tough. As we said last week, Mark Martin going to be teaming up with Bloomquist, so it looks like things have already started to take shape there. So congratulations to Stingray Rob and Jagger Jones. Rotax, we just know they're making killer money, and they're here to stay. Of course, you think about it, everybody thought Yamaha was here to stay too with the KT100 when they rescued karting and saved it, but you see what happens there. So, I mean, you just never know. SCUSA announced new rules on their spec fuel for the stock Hondas, which now can run. They used to be limited to only the MS98 or MS98L, I think is what it is. But they can now run either the MS98 by VP or the VPC-12. Stock Honda's the only one that gets that change. All the others are going to stay with the MS98. And Motul, the 2T, will still remain as the spec oil. I got here. I don't know. I mean, my deal is like this. I mean, I get the spec fuel thing, and I understand that they're trying to keep everything level and even and all that. But I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but either fuel passes or it doesn't. Doesn't matter where you get it. Doesn't matter what it is. If you've got cheater stuff in it, or it's oxygenated or whatever it is, they're gonna know. So I don't get where the big deal is, why everybody can only buy it here and whatever, and then oil. If you are getting beat because of the type of oil you use, man, you've got other problems. I mean, you've got way bigger problems. I just don't get that. I just think it blocks the industry. It keeps people from joining, and I don't know. I don't think it's good for the sport to have all just this single oil, or not allowing the racers deserve to have some input and some decision making things, and it should be a little bit on the homework side. What if for example, what if you had let's just say Sunoco wanted to sponsor you, and you got a big deal, and they were going to sponsor your fuel for the year, and you'd have to tell them, no, I can't run that because it isn't a spec fuel. I mean, to me, that's limiting what can come into the sport, what can help the sport, and and all that stuff. I mean, I just, I just don't know. I just don't agree with it, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to change it. I get that, but it's not the point. It's the principle. That's the whole thing. So, anyway, keep that in mind. VP MS98 or the VPC-12. Those are stock Honda fuels. Those are spec. You can use them, and all the others are going to stay on the MS98. Cal Speed Karting. Anybody hear about this? Cal Speed Karting and the Los Angeles Kart Club they're feuding like little girls. Cal Speed has revoked the hosting contract of the Los Angeles Karting Club over issues regarding camping. Yes, I said camping. Can you believe that? I mean, how ridiculous, is it? So it's going to affect the whole karting community down there in the Southern California area, all over a camping issue. And so the upcoming race at LAKC is no longer. And so now what they're doing is, since they don't have, a lot of the racers were, they were already pre-registered. So now Cal Speed doesn't have those records of who paid and who didn't. And so they've insured the racers that they won't have to pay a second time. Well, thank you very much, Cal Speed. I mean, thanks for that. I certainly hope we wouldn't have to pay twice after all this, garbage going on over camping. And so that means that the SoCal Series, which was supposed to start, they had to postpone their opening race because everybody's kind of chipping in to clean up this other mess between Cal Speed and the LAKC. I mean, it just makes no sense, and it's exactly what I'm talking about when I say that it's a joke. I mean, how it's run, how it's promoted, how everything is, and that's what makes me say there needs to be one governing body over the whole thing. You got too many guys, too many chiefs, not enough Indians, all wanting to, do their thing. But yet Cal Speed says, they want everybody to, we need to respect one another, and we need to, get along. Well, you know what? You should have done that before you freaked out over a camping issue and messed it up for everybody. I mean, because now it's a hassle. Who paid? Who didn't? Are we going to do this? Are we? It's just a mess. It's stupid. I don't get it. But that's how it's going, and that's exactly why karting gets the recognition that it does, is because it's, in some places, it's run pretty podunk and amateur, and I'm just being honest. That's just my feelings on it. So, I hope they get their stuff together. But what that means is guys like Ford Cook and the Dixon Speedway, the NorCal UAS, and you guys should go down there and say, hey, why don't you asphalt guys come over to the Speedway side? We'll show you how it is. We won't have issues on camping. Matter of fact, we encourage it. We want you to camp. So maybe you get some of these Speedway guys to convert over, and that would be pretty cool. I'm going to get in. Do I have enough time here? Yeah, I might be able to. We'll have to hustle this in. But race results, 14th and 15th down in Phoenix, Arizona, was the Rotex Challenge of the Americas, a pretty big race. And it was a heck of a racing weekend. Stingray Robb captured the pole and won it on Sunday. He was on the pole on Saturday, but had some issues. They switched chassis before qualifying or something, and so he was put to the back, and so he didn't do as well on Saturday. But he did get, with that win, he did get that coveted Grand Final ticket for the Rotex Grand Finals this year. I'm not sure where they're at yet, so stay tuned. I'll get more info on that and let you know in another show. But he's got it, and that's what they're all racing for anyway. I mean, is this ticket. You have to win a major Rotex series or a major event like the Challenge of the Americas or a Grand National in order to get one of these tickets. So Nick Bruckner, he won on Saturday. Rob won it on Sunday in junior. Matt Jaskell beat Sabre Cook in DD2. Masters, John Crow took the win, and our very own Chad Wallace from down in Oregon, he made it to 5th, so great job, Chad Wallace. Peyton Durant won Mini Max for his first win of the season, and Marco Kasich won on Saturday. And Kasich is a former Gold Cup regular from Canada, a great little wheel, and he won it on Saturday. Mason Mariota beat Luke Selican in senior, and Selican's doing some good things, racing late models and doing all that stuff. He was there. He was 2nd. Stefanova Nikhil was 6th. So some local boys doing pretty good. Diego Larac took Micromax, making it. He won it both Saturdays, making it 4 straight wins. So he's smoking, and he's a super good kid too. He's a heck of a shoe, and I probably have the only autographed Diego Larac T-shirt in existence. Well, maybe, okay, I say that back when I was doing it, but he's probably autographed plenty of them now, but I at least have the first one, if not the only one in existence. So, and then another local guy doing good down there in the was Josh Pearson. So, and he's been under the guidance and watchful eye of none other than Aaron Nelliton Race Concepts is his driving coach. So good stuff. And then I got to give a shout out to the King of Kings. I missed it last week. Almost missed it this week, but the big UAS event in Tennessee, Kyle Schmidt won on Saturday, and Dustin Bennett won on Sunday. I think Bennett he would have had Saturday too, but he said he slowed up his pace. Kyle Schmidt gave him a little bump, put him in the crumbs, and went on by to take the win on Saturday. So congratulations to Dustin Bennett, and get this, guys. Now they swear up and down, but he won this on a set of Burris tires that he ran back in September at the what was that thing? It was the Fall Brawl, and these are the same tires he won that event in September with, and there was no dope on them. He said no dope. So you tell me, is he lying? Because everybody I talked to says, yo, you got to have dope. You got to have dope. You can't do it. Can't do it without dope. You got to have it. I don't know. I'm just saying. Sid White Memorial, and coming up, actually happened over the weekend, and pretty cool stuff. We got to give a shout out to Jonathan Brown, who went down and drove for the Egan Motorsports team. So it went like this: Team KPX, which was Taylor Young, Jack Freese, and Phil Pegler. They won the World Formula. They were number 1 overall, and then in second was Team Swiss. Team Swiss 3, which was David Shorn, one of the Jaden Ward, I do believe, and but I guess Tyler says they didn't register down there, so he didn't have the full results of that team, but it was Team Swiss. So David Shorn leading the way. They were second overall in World Formula. And then Full Throttle, Scott and Brett Gorham and Connor Solis were third overall. Rossi Racing was fourth overall. And Rossi Racing had Chris Rossi, Jeff Smith, and Bob Hurst. They were first in World Formula Masters. And then Egan Motorsports had Tom Egan, Tom Minich, Bert Arambaru, and Randy Reynolds. They were fifth overall and second in the Masters. And then AK Motorsports was sixth. Yep. Diehart was seventh. Pettit Racing eighth. Team Swiss 2, which was eighth. They were the junior overalls, so the LO206 juniors, which was local boys Jacob Gulick, Spencer Kuntz, Mason Buck, and Tyler Besselman. They took home the LO206 junior, and they were eighth overall. And then Team Merrill. And then Tyler Egan won the LO206 class, and some cool stuff. But here's the cool thing. LO206 carts, there was 11 of them. 2,685 laps and not one failure. So that's pretty awesome stuff. We're going to break away. I'm going to put an ad on here, so we'll be right back waiting for our caller, Garth Mulkey, to call in about 8 o'clock. So this is the Northwest Race Report. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Here. Over the road going from race to race, I get to see a lot of shops. And I love the way the folks at O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies help keep their customers rolling under the checkered flag. Great parts selection, awesome customer service, and a custom fab shop make O'Hagan's the racer's edge. So stop by today and see for yourself why O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies is the racer's edge. You can find them on Facebook, or you can call them at 209-201-1829 and tell them that Terry Bridges sent you.
All right, welcome back. And hey, we got our in-the-seat guest tonight. It is the awesome, the only Mr. Garth Mulkey. Garth, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you, Terry, and let me say happy birthday to you, a little bit belated, but I had no idea you were so old, man. You look much younger than what you say you are.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mulkey. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't feel it. Well, sometimes I do. You know how that goes. So
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, just kind of wrapping up some stuff here. Those of you that don't know Garth, he is the founder of the Nitro Radish World Formula Pro Series, and the big shot in the arm for the Northwest Gold Cup. They really did need that at the time. But Garth, for the listeners that are here. First of all, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the sport.
Well, when I was a teenager and into my early 20s, I raced flat-track motorcycles and kind of toured the West Coast and ran pro for a few years. But, I was on a good day, I'd break in the top 5. So I wasn't one of the fast guys, but I was up there. And then as I got older and got injured a few times, went to college, learned to be a machinist, and then spent about 10 years working in the racing industry as a machinist and a mechanic, first for some factory Kawasaki and factory Yamaha superbike teams, and then moved to the Midwest and worked for some pretty big-name car racing teams up until the mid-'90s. And then I came back to the farm to raise my family, and been on the farm ever since. And when Max got to about 12 years old, we needed something to do, so we went go-kart racing and had a great time, and that brought us to where we are today.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, so with that being said, I understand you've got some really big news for the 4-cycle bunch. Well, I guess, or maybe it's for the series. I'm not sure which. I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. But what do you got?
Well, it's series related, but it's Max is off to college this year, and he won't be able to make but maybe a couple of the Gold Cups. And I was kind of sitting around and looking at these go-karts and thinking I want to keep them on the racetrack. So got to thinking about, who could I put in the seat? And scratched my head a bit and talked to some people and kind of looked at the results last year and looked at who was deserving and who was hardworking. And, sat down one day with a kid named Jonathan Brown and said, Jonathan, would you like to run my equipment this year? And I was fortunate he said yes. So we're going to help him out, supply him with top-notch equipment, and help him meet some of his travel needs, travel costs, and pay for some of the tires, and just go racing and have a good time.
Wow, that's huge news. And for those of you that don't know Jonathan Brown, he's got quite a story. I won't go into it in depth, but let me just say that when Garth Mulkey says he's deserving, that might be an understatement considering what he's overcome and what he's done to get where he's at. Would you agree with that, Garth?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the work ethic there and his level of commitment is second to none. We're gonna win Gold Cups this year. I can't say we're gonna win them all, but Jonathan and I and his parents, we're gonna put an effort out, and Jonathan's gonna win some Gold Cups and hopefully the title. So I'm stoked about it. I'm excited. Ordered a new engine today. starting to get ready, so we'll see where it leads.
Wow. Hey, that is huge news. That's awesome news. And you're not going to find any better people on the planet. I mean, his folks are, Bill and Dolores are just killer. So you're set. Your year's been made here practically.
Absolutely. And, we've been working on the series a little bit. Got some other people that saw the excitement we generated last year, so we're going to have some more people helping out, and really exciting for what the year can bring. Don Hombo with CMC, he's gonna pick up the purse on Saturdays, so we're gonna have CMC Saturdays with $400 to win, and then I'm gonna continue to pick up the purse on Sundays with $400 to win there as well, and then Black Star Motorsports with Chris Hatch, $50 every race to pass qualifier. So we're generating some excitement, and it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. And hopefully that draws back the kind of competitors we had last year, like Davin Robert Sturtevant. He was a top fiver, and I know he's driven for you before, or you've kind of helped him before. So there's and then you've got, Max won't be running, but you're going to have Shorn, I'm sure, Brian Green, Normandin, Steve King, all those guys. It's going to be a whale of a series.
Last year was just, I couldn't have asked for a better inaugural season for the Pro Series. We had 10 races, 7 different winners on 6 different brands of chassis. So, it was just a great series, and we're going to work hard to make it a great series this year as well, and I'm super excited about it.
Man, you should be. What a shot in the arm, and that brings me to, so you've told us how you got started, but tell us, so basically, in a nutshell, the series itself is basically the rules are IKF, correct?
That is correct. It is World Formula Heavy, IKF rules to the letter. So standard stuff there.
So you now, what about tires and all that? Is it going to be the same as what it is on the Gold Cup, or does the series get to pick a different tire if they want to run on it?
No, it's going to be MG Reds, just like the Gold Cup. So.
That's cool.
Yep.
So you've kind of been the gamut here. So tell me, why? I know you were running the Rotax stuff. You and Max you started to do that, and
yep.
Why didn't you stay? Why did you make the move to Rotax in the first place? And then I'll ask you the next half of that question.
Okay, we went to Rotax. Max in 2010, his first full season of racing, won the club championship in Junior 2 World Formula. And it was time for him to move to senior. He had another year of junior, and there just weren't very many karts at the time in junior. So we decided we'd try junior Rotax and just see how that went. We had to move on to the next challenge. He was still a year and a half away from being senior, so that's where we went. And we ran Rotax for 3 years.
Well, so I'm going to venture to say that was probably an expensive move or change.
Well, yes, it was. And that's kind of, last year, Max's senior year in high school, we had to start, putting a little bit of coin away from college, and we just sat down after, there's 2013 Rotax season. We started running the numbers, and, what we spent on Rotax in 3 years, we could have bought a small house. And reality was, unless we were going to spend double that and more time with driver coaches and engine builders and a new chassis every, 6 months, we weren't going to run up front. And it just became apparent that. So what we did is just looked at, I knew we had to cut our budget in half so we'd have money to go to college. And I looked at the World Formula thing, and we always enjoyed the four-stroke racing. We always enjoyed what Briggs & Stratton has done for the sport. But we just didn't know how much excitement there was for it. So even after cutting our budget in half and then looking on what it would cost us to run the Gold Cup Series of World Formula, I had $4,000 left over in my budget. So I thought, well, let's sponsor the series and bring some excitement back. And that's exactly what happened. It was a great year, and looking forward to it again this year.
Wow. Davin Robert Sturdivant's on the chat line, working through the podcast, but still showing the support. Appreciate that, Davin. That's what it's needing. So, Garth, so we move on. So you're in Rotax. You're there. You've already committed. So it kind of tells. I mean, how much does it cost to run? Let's say a weekend. Say you went to I don't know if you guys went to the Challenge of the Americas, but like last weekend. I mean, what's a weekend? What's a guy looking at if you want to run up front and honestly have a competitive chance of winning? What's it cost to do one of those weekends?
Well, you're gonna pay a tent fee. You're gonna be under a big tent. I'm a good mechanic, so we never really hired a mechanic. But we had driver coaching, and the guys now, they got a data guy under the tent, and by the time you figure travel and everything, to go down there and race for one weekend, it's going to be $5,000. And that's on top of the fact that you already own the go-kart, and you already own the engine, but you better have another engine, and, there's guys spending six figures to race go-karts, and I'm glad they do. If they've got that, if that's their desire, I'm glad there's a place for them. But for me, we're in it to have fun. I got into it so I could take a good kid to the racetrack and turn him into a great young man, because there's so many life lessons in racing, and you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money to have good life lessons. You just got to have a good place to run, and we've got that in the Northwest, and it's just a blast.
You hit it right on the head. I mean, now I believe honestly that Max has some talent. He might, if he wanted to, could go to the next level. I mean, there's a lot of kids here that are doing this that they're saying, yeah, it's just from but I mean, realize in order to be good, you've got to have some commitment, some desire. And does that mean you want to go to the next level? Well, maybe not, but most of them that really have that commitment do. But I mean, yeah. He is that something that he possibly? I mean, is it one of those things where you're pretty sure he's not going to want to, or is it just kind of we're going to wait and see what it brings?
Well, we're looking at 4 years of college now, and the fact is, even if I had the money, I think I can spend it better in other places and set him up better for down the road. We're going to have fun, and realistically, if you're the top level of Rotax, and there's a lot of guys in the Northwest that have been there, but very few of them step up to the next level. So at some point, you have to look at all that money and say, 10 years from now, was that a wise investment?
I could not agree more. I mean, that's what I'm asking myself. I mean, you got guys like Wimpset, and I mean, here you've got the, arguably one of the best, if not the best drivers in the country, and he's not driving anything.
Yeah, Phil Otterscott. I mean, these guys have talent, but it takes to make the next level. It takes things that most of us don't have.
Well, you know what else it does is I think that so many of them are used to the top flight stuff in karting that, I don't know if they're willing to go. I mean, maybe sometimes in order to go to the next level, you might have to start lower. You might have to be like, what you're not used to being, maybe a little bit lower on the rung or a little bit lower on the totem pole, and you're not going to have the top flight stuff, right out of the gate. But if you want to go racing and you want to make it to the next level, and that's what you got to do, then maybe that's what you got to do.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Just, at the end of the day, we got to have fun. We got to, support the sport that has helped us grow as a father and son and help those around us. And, we're just there to have a good time.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, it's pretty cool that you've come out and just said, I mean, that's what most people don't do is they want all these world-class results. but they want to put in just for fun kind of, commitment. Now, does that mean you're not working hard? No, it doesn't, but I just mean, you know what I mean? They want some bigger results than from what they're putting in, and it's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where we were. Max's last year in Rotax, we had spent a pile of money, and we thought we were making good choices, and it just was frustrating. It got where it was not enjoyable to go to the racetrack, but we went to the racetrack because we're racers. And we just had to reevaluate and, pick a path that was more relaxing and, still awesome competition and still hard work. But, we just made a choice that fit us well.
Yeah, and the series is great. I mean, and if we can incorporate some cool things like we talked about over the summer, making it last and doing some, we probably could really build some excitement, for that series because it is awesome racing. I mean, I wasn't a 4-cycle guy at all until I went to the 2010 Grands, and that was a seller for me. I mean, it takes everything. You got to have the setup, you got to have some driving skill, you got to have some luck. You also have to have a little bit of a strategy. I mean, you use it all in that. It's not just a big horsepower, big money deal.
Well, absolutely. It takes a whole package, but on the other hand, if you blow an engine, there will be three of your competitors will carry engines over and say, run mine. I mean, because we all help each other. It's just, we're a big family, and it's enjoyable.
It is. It's awesome. So, asking you, since you've been there, is a driver coach necessary?
It kind of depends on your background. Max didn't start racing until he was 12 years old, so we're already racing against guys that have 5 or 6 years of experience. So I think it shortens the learning curve. But then you get to a certain level and you understand how things work, and it's not as important. So it just kind of depends on your background and what your goals are. But if when Max is 14 years old, the best money we could have spent was on a driving coach. We didn't need a faster motor. We didn't need new tires every weekend. He needed to learn the tricks of the trade, and the best way to do that was working with a driver coach.
Wow, so it's almost like it's a two-edged sword in a way. Sounds like to me.
It is, but it's if you're going to spend the money, it's important to help you get to that next level.
All right. So with that, do you see anything? Where do you see the Rotax series going? And is there anything that can dethrone it?
Oh, I don't know. Terry. It's there are people willing to participate, and there's fast guys, and they're good racing. I think it comes down to the economy. As long as people have a job and they've got money to spend, there will be a Rotax series. It's well run. It's got a very equal rule set, so it's fair for everybody. It's a great series. It's just unfortunate, in my opinion, that you got to spend the cubic dollars you do to run up front week in and week out.
That's just it, and that's I think that's the, for what you get on your return for investment. That is the, and it's like I said earlier, with all this other mess going on with the Cal Speed thing and whatever, I believe there needs to be one governing body overseeing all of this. I mean, I have nothing against Rotax. I mean, I want everybody to know that. I don't. I guess what I'm just saying is, number one, the way I feel is, since when is Rotax bigger than karting itself? There's more karting than Rotax and SCUSA. And the other thing is, is that or is that not a conflict of interest? I mean, you've got Rotax making decisions about new parts of stuff and this and that. Well, I thought you were supposed to bring your best stuff to the deal when you came. I mean, there was the cylinder thing that they changed, and then this and that. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they have to be perfect, but I'm saying somewhere along the line, there might need to be one body that oversees that says, ho, wait a minute. Is that a conflict of interest? Is it really going to be good for the sport? Or does somebody just want to make more money?
Well, I should probably leave my opinion where it's at, but when it comes to having the latest and greatest stuff, one of the Gold Cups Max won this year, was with a 7-year-old engine. So, you know, that's the thing about World Formula. You don't need a brand new chassis. You don't need a brand new engine. Just take care of your stuff, and it'll take care of you, and go racing and have fun. And that's what I'm here to talk about.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, because I know you're probably busy and you got to get up early, but you know, with all the 4-cycles that are out there, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of them. I think more than people think. You know, back east it's huge, but I guess the question is, the first part of it is, why isn't there? And could there be a chance that 4-cycling could get to the point where it is a series like Rotax? I mean, on that scale, where it's a bigger deal than maybe it is.
And maybe it could, but I don't know that it needs to. I think, you know, as long as there's good club racing and a good local regional series, you know, travel's expensive. And it takes time. It takes time away from work and time away from family and time away from school. I think local racing is really where it's at. At least that's my opinion. I mean, I'm glad there's guys that can travel and do the big stuff, because we get to buy their used carts for pennies on the dollar after the end of the year. So I think we'll see grassroots 4-stroke racing continue to grow. But I don't know that we really need a national series. It's just, you know, once you spend that kind of money to travel, then maybe you do need the latest, greatest engine, and maybe you do need that driving coach. And, you know, after those things start adding up, then the fun starts to go away. So I'm all about local racing.
Well, yeah, and I mean, but, you know, Garth, I mean, and I'm not arguing, I'm just making statements here that I'm just saying, you know, there were some pretty darn good drivers without driving coaches back in the day, before there was all this, you know, data acquisition and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, and they did it. I mean, that was part of the curve. I mean, that's just how you learned it. You didn't go there and have somebody, you know, do it for you. I mean, you actually kind of had to learn it. And well, to me, that was part of what made karting what it was.
No, and I agree with you. And but was there big, you know, I'm relatively new to karting. We've been in it 5 years. I don't know much of the history, but, you know, in those days, there wasn't big tents and there wasn't driver coaches, but that developed because people were willing to spend the money to get to that level. So,
yeah, you know, I mean, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what the answer is. I just hope that, you know, I mean, I know, you know, everybody will say, well, it's because, you know, yeah, it does affect me. I love what I'm doing. I'm trying to make a go of it. So, yeah, I mean, I want it to be as pro and as big and get as many entries as we can get. I mean, not just for my sake, but for, you know, the whole sport. I mean, that's really what I want, you know, more than anything, is to get some respect for the guys that are doing this. Because, I mean, if you ask me, I mean, all things being equal, I mean, karting is, I mean, they're working as hard or harder than the big guys. I mean, they're splitting hairs and, you know, doing all that stuff. So it's crazy. Just watch. Well, you saw the speedway guys. I mean, just look at the tire stuff that they do. I mean, just that alone is an art in itself. I mean,
yeah.
And what did you think of the speedway stuff?
I love it. You know, I grew up racing motorcycles on dirt ovals, and that's just the neatest thing to me. You know, that isn't the direction Max wanted to go when we started, so we went with the sprint karts, and now we have a great group of friends, so we're going to stick with that. But there could be a day when there's a speedway kart in my shop. Yeah,
you know, and you've already got the driver. He's already proven himself in the dirt, so.
Oh yeah,
that's cool stuff. Well, hey Garth, I appreciate you being on the show. That is fantastic news. I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard from too many Gold Cuppers yet. I know Boise has talked to me about getting over there, so I'm excited about that. So hopefully, you know, I'll be in and be able to do quite a few of your series events. I hope that's the case, but it's awesome.
Well, anytime you need a reference, just write my name down. There's no problem there.
Garth Mulkey, thank you so much. Thanks for the birthday wish. Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for supporting it. I mean, I appreciate it.
Hey, Terry, good talking to you. I appreciate what you do for the sport.
Thanks, Garth. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good evening. Bye.
That was Garth Mulkey, everybody. What a great guy. I mean, just a super good guy, and that's the whole thing in the sport is there is a lot of good, awesome people. Congratulations to Jonathan Brown. I think that's just fantastic. Nobody deserves it. I'm going to get him on the show here so he can tell you in his own words kind of his story. It's pretty neat. It doesn't happen very often. But we still got about 4 minutes, and I wanted to go over the results from Salem, so I didn't get hollered at by anybody. But the open cages, this was the night half. So on the day half, we had the in the quarter midget seniors, we had Bailey Barney was the winner. Quarter junior was Destry Miller. So congratulations to those. The 125 cage was won by Dustin Asher. Good kid. Kind of been helping out up in the flag stand at Salem Speedway. So Asher wins that. Ben Swartzel was second. Quarter midget animal, 7-15. The winner was Austin Taborski. And in quarter midget world formula, it was Mason Deneen. I remember that name, I think from up in Oakwood. So he's still getting it done. Carson Borden was second. 250 cagers, they had 20 of them on the day show. Pretty awesome for the 250s. Connor Hansen from Cresswell won it, and then McLean Bedoin from Lebanon was second. Loaded field, too. There wasn't no jokes. I mean, Cormac and Carrick, Duke Johnson, Taylor Roberts, McMaster. I mean, there was Brody Sims, Thornhill. I mean, there was some studs in there. 5-horse open, they had 16 of them. Carly Holmes took home the win. Non-Subaru Intermediate went to Madison Basile from Gladstone. So congratulations to Madison. Pee-wee, Run What You Brung. Jaden Trupp was your winner. Micaiah George was second. Subaru Intermediate was Lane Taylor from McKenna, Washington, your winner. Pee-wee Non-Subaru was JoJo Battaglia. He won it. Braden Brookshire was second. That was the day show. And then on the night show, there was 28 500 open cages. 28. That's pretty awesome. Eric Schofield won it. Corey Hazen was second. Dwarf, Danny Alton from Sodaville, Oregon, won it. The Micro 600s, Lindsay Barney won it from Eagle Creek. She's a wheel, and you will be hearing more from her if she moves up to the next step. She's a great driver, and always has top-notch equipment. In the midgets, Ryan Culley from Burlington, Washington won it, and David Veeder was second from Salem. Mini stocks, Dale Holland was the winner. Crystal Flath was second. And micro restricted, Alyssa Piles took the win over Casey Smith. Colby Thornhill was third. Pro Fours, Terry Ferrando won it. And brother Tim and Megan, top three. Terry, Tim, and Megan. The Ferrandos kind of own the Pro 4 deal. And that is the kind of the wrap-up from Salem Speedway. We're going to be there this weekend on the 7th, so I don't know how many people are coming, but I hear that East Wenatchee coming. Case Hinkins may be on his way down, so that's kind of cool. So hopefully everybody can make it, because I think this is going to be the last show for the Speedway guys, I do believe. So with that, hey, thanks again for all the wonderful birthday wishes. I appreciate it, and I really do. It means a lot. Ford Cook, thanks for tuning in. Let me know when you want to sponsor that In the Seat guest. By the way, we do have that going on, the In the Seat guest, and our race news all up for advertising. If somebody wants to get involved, spread the word. It's cheap. It's pretty easy. It just kind of helps cover the show and do some things like that. So a big shout-out to O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies, who re-upped for another month. I appreciate Jerry and the whole gang down there. They're a great support. And Scott McDowell, I will get you that copy of that picture here probably tomorrow. I got to see if I can convert it over to that PDF, so bear with me on that. But anyway, next week, tune in. You want to be here for sure. Thanks, Rocket. Thank you, Jonathan Brown. Congratulations on your new ride, too, young man. That's pretty awesome. Shane Smith, anytime you want to be a guest host, let me know. But we have the lovely Anna Marie going to be here for Marketing at Full Speed. She's going to have some great info on how to get sponsorship, what clubs can do, what drivers can do. So tune in for sure. Tell everybody this is going to be a great show you don't want to miss. It's going to be a lot of good information. Scott Warning, thank you very much. Glad you tuned in. Appreciate the support. Somebody find the snowman. Where's he been? I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, look forward to that. That's next week, and then we'll get started on our Cage Cup month. But hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And remember, if there's somebody on the bottom, you got to go to the outside.